Welcome back to session two of our international webinar. So we yes, so we are at 158 as we organized. So another 2 minutes we could start. So I request the participants to please mute your audio and video. Participants, we are starting exactly at 2 o'clock. Please ensure your audio and video remains muted. Yes, so we're all set. We are all set for the second session. So our second session the topic is liquidity management during crisis, and the resource person is Dr. Pooja Priyadarshini, who is a managing director, Civil Consultant Private Limited, Chennai. So I request Mrs. Lavanya Balaji, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, who is also the event coordinator, to introduce the speaker to the audience. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, one and all here. I take the privilege of introducing Dr. Padmaja. Dr. Padmaja has a total of 23 years of experience in the field of banking, teaching, and entrepreneurship. She has done her MPhil in international business, doctorate in the field of women entrepreneurship, and multiple post-graduation in the field of statistics. She has been a corporate trainer and conducts marketing research workshops. She began her career as a professional in banking sector and worked there for 10 years. She switched to B School thereafter for 3 years, focused in teaching before she became an entrepreneur herself. For the last 10 years, she's the managing director of Messrs. Home Guru Civil Consultants Private Limited. She has got the Emerging Entrepreneurship Award 2015, Outstanding Digital Startup Award 2015, Senior Women Entrepreneurship Award 2017, and Visionary Women Award 2018. Her flair for research has benefited herself and to many research scholars in the field of social sciences. She has supported more than 40 research scholars in submitting their PhD by way of statistical analysis. She has been contributing for the dissertation of PG medical students in their course for the past 7 years. She has worked with CLRI and other industries in the field of engineering research. She has presented 48 research papers in national and international conferences and published 5 research articles in reputed journals. So welcome, Dr. Padmaja. It's over to you, madam. Dr. Padmaja.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, I'm on now. I'm available. I think I have unmuted. Are you able to hear me?
Yes,
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. We are.
Yeah, fine. Thanks for the wonderful introduction. And firstly, I thank the management for giving such a nice opportunity to have an interesting session during this, especially during this COVID time. And I think I should add value to how to manage liquidity in this crisis situation. So over to my presentation now. Let us not take much time. So let me start my presentation now. Let me try to share my screen. Is my screen visible? Is my
Yes,
screen
ma'am.
visible?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Fine. Now we all understand, like, everybody is facing the same situation, be it an entrepreneur, be it a government employee or a private employee or a management, whatever it is, a college management or for that matter, every person, every individual is facing the same problem now. Everybody is having, we are running short of vitamin M. So let us see. When the first day, when the Prime Minister announced about the lockdown, our heartbeat was like this. We were thinking of what is going to be, because in our experience, we would have heard about this Article 144 and all that stuff, but we would have never heard about this terminology lockdown. I think that's pretty new for many of us, at least here. So the heartbeat is the one which we had lot of palpitations during the same announcement. The announcement came on Friday for 1 day lockdown, I remember. So that time this it started beating, and from then on, I think it's on the increase and it's not stabilizing, getting stabilized. So let us see how we are going to understand how to manage this liquidity crisis. The current scenario now, it is full of trauma because many people are paralyzed and many people are affected, and we are now not secured. We are feeling insecure even to go out or even to get something from outside. We are having a lot of, we are into total panic, and the situation is out of trauma and a lot of anxiety. We don't know when the situation is going to get over and how long it is this. Like when floods came in Chennai, it was just for 1 week or 10 days. After that, things were slowly back to normal. Same thing happens when same thing happened with Varda also. When the cyclone came, okay, 15 days there was no power shutdown. We all got hit. It was okay. But after 15th day, we resumed back. But now here, this situation, we are not aware what is going to happen and when things will be clear, when we'll be back to our normal life. We are not sure. The situation is so anxious, making so much anxiousness, and we are worried about what is going to be our future. And the immediate future is not really rosy for us. Forget about a business. Even for an individual, it's not rosy. Yesterday, I saw in the newspaper that a professor in Delhi, he was trying to, he's English professor. He is trying to sell vegetables because he lost his contractual job. So situation is not really rosy even for individual. Forget about any business. So for a single individual, if it is not rosy, then how would be a business feel? So now, right now, our focus is on how to handle our team. How do we understand risks? And how to understand that we cannot go back to the situation what it was. But when we were celebrating this New Year, the situation was we never thought that this will be the situation now. So now we have to how to understand that we cannot go back to what we were. So we have to focus. We have to understand. We have to focus on how to handle our team, how to handle ourselves, how to handle the risks, how to understand what is the risk we are facing, and how to understand that what is going to be the next. These things we have to focus. The once we start focusing, we'll be able to understand. Okay, now situation is worse. Okay, we understand. Now how to create a normal life? This is not going to be easy, but it's not impossible. So we need to create a new normal life for ourselves, for our business, for our profession, whatever it is. Whatever is our profession, we have to press the pause button and reset, and again we have to try to adapt to the situation, and we have to try to move on. What are we doing now? We are focusing into the income and expenditure in a business. By taking, say, I am an entrepreneur. The more of the entrepreneurial blood will be there in my heart and mind. So I'll be trying to connect everything through entrepreneurship, and sometimes I may take it into a company aspect. So it will be like intrapreneurship or entrepreneurship. So what we are trying to do in business is right now is we are focusing on to the income and expenditure. Every month, even this COVID time, many entrepreneurs are trying to pay salary because they're all startups. They don't want to break the team. And if the best challenging part for a startup is to get the team linked. So if the team is broken, it's not easy to, after the COVID may come today and it may go tomorrow, but after this crisis, it's not going to be easy to make the team back. So we have to keep the team in the hold. For that, what practically I was trying to do is, past 3 months, I was managing to take the income and expenditure. I was calculating all these things. Of course, I forgot to calculate the cash flow. Like I put the cash flow in the back burner. I gave a least priority. So that's what many people do, I think now. So we are focusing only onto the income and expenditure, taking the same scenario to an individual also. many people are not getting salaries, and many even high level IT companies have given salary cuts. So in such situation, the income and expenditure we are trying to focus, and we are forgetting like what is the cash flow. It's like driving a car in the highway, but focusing only on the speed and ignoring about the fuel is almost empty. Once the fuel is empty, we cannot even start the vehicle. Same thing is happening in the scenario of our lives. So we are forgetting about what is the cash, what is in it, what is the liquid, how much liquidity we have. We are forgetting that, and we are just focusing on to the income and expenditure. Now the topics here I would like to cover: crisis management. So because the topic is of more of liquidity management in crisis, so how to manage crisis, the aspects, few aspects there. In lean and proactive liquidity management and understanding liquidity risks. Principles required for how to manage the robust liquidity management. So all about what is crisis management, like what we are doing now practically. So it is like I would like to bring it more of business perspective and a management perspective. So it is about institution specific, and it varies from institution to institution, and it ensures sufficiency of cash, limiting reputational and economic damage. Crisis management formalizes a firm in it first when we have to manage the crisis. First thing is we need to sourcing of whatever resources. Then once the resources are sourced, managing the resource and maintaining the liquid assets. The tough part is getting funding during a stress period. There is no money in the whole lot. Then where do I go to get the money? How do I fund the business? How do I fund the company? How do I manage the show? So funding during a stress period, this is a real challenge, and that is called crisis management. So a firm should formalize in all these things. They should try to source the resource, manage the available resource, be resourceful, maintain the liquid assets, and fund during a stressed period. Liquidity management should serve to protect the company during the difficult times. When a company is finding its worst time, it should serve to protect. So it should have the assets in such a way, the assets should be in such a way that the liquidity can be managed. Management should create and protect cash. So it should have a readily available cash so that it can create and protect the cash during the crisis times. And it helps to manage the operations. By doing this, it helps to manage the operations, to prioritize the actions, to modify the behaviors, and it should not, okay, we understood that what all the things liquidity management should focus during this crisis for liquidity. It should try to manage the operations in an efficient way. It should prioritize the actions, and it should modify the behaviors of whatever. Like as I said, it was not the previous show. Like last year, the situation was different, but now the scenario is totally different. So the behaviors of managing the company, the perspective of managing the company should totally change. So the modifications is required in managing the show during such a crisis. So liquidity plays a vital role here. Okay, but what we should not do, management should not work on an ad hoc basis. Liquidity should not be based just whatever comes, let me do. So it should not be there. A proper planning should be there. And we cannot work on intuition. Okay, this is going to happen, because now things are not predictable. So intuition basis, working on intuition basis will not help now. And without anticipating what is going to happen, see, when I do something, I have to anticipate both things, a positive thing and a negative thing. So without anticipating what is going to happen, the negative things, the repercussions, management should not focus on liquidity. So it should focus, I go to the previous slide, it should try to manage the operations with the available resources, prioritize the actions, which is important. So now hierarchy is very important. Whichever is not really the need of the hour, we can postpone. So prioritize the actions and modify the behaviors. And this is how they can protect the company during difficult times, because they have to create and protect the cash. So these are the things they can implement to protect the liquidity of the company. Of course, it should not try to do it on its own haphazard. Something doing haphazard, it should not do. it should not take its own intuition and work on it. Sometimes the intuition works, but not at crisis times. During crisis, we cannot use our intuition and we cannot just go like whatever we want to do. And we have to even think twice, even before doing a small task in a business or in a firm where we work during such a crisis time. So anticipating everything, yeah, we have to expect the unexpected, the least thing which can happen. So that is very important while managing the crisis and the liquidity part. It should how to manage the crisis, how to manage the liquidity during the crisis. What happens is in a big firm, in a management, in a big company where things are being managed in a large scale, authorities are being delegated and they can try to redirect it into small teams. When a big problem is there, if it is broken into small pieces, small portions, it's easy to tackle and handle. So that's what everywhere we do. Even when we are writing our thesis, if it is going to be 5 chapters, we break it into small parts and we try to address to the issue then and there. So temporarily we are able to solve. Same thing in a management. From a management perspective, when we delegate authorities into small teams, we break the whole problem into small complex problems into simple problems. It can be easily handled. And this situation will make the people and the process to have under control. So the situation is under tight control if doing so. And in this case, definitely micromanagement is really required. In general, micromanagement is not suggested as a leadership quality because, see, if I am having a team of a size of 10, and if I want them to do the task like how I do, it's not going to work. Everybody have their own style. So, like micromanagement will not help in the long run for any management technology. But during crisis, during this COVID time, such a situation, micromanagement will help. Okay, when can we do micromanagement? It cannot be done in the large scale. So only when the whole complex is broken into small parts, then situation can be had under control and micromanagement will really help in this case. Because we can easily forecast what is going to be the wrong. So when things are not going to be okay, we can easily address to the issue then and there. Therefore, the damage will be very, very minimum. Now, driving the management process is an important priority. What are the roles of executives in liquidity management? First thing is the management process is priority. How to drive the management process? Because now it is not a normal thing, it is a non-normal thing. In statistics, I would recall statistics. In statistics, why we say the normal distribution, we take everything to normal distribution. Normal distribution is if you assume an typical example of purchasing gold. In one jewelry shop, gold will a person who will buy maximum gold will be very, very minimum. Like 2 or 3 people will be buying a 5 lakh rupee gold on a single day, a footfall in one jewelry shop. Similarly, purchasing a very minimum of 100 rupees or 200 rupees, a small piece of gold will be again very minimum, very 1 or 2 will be buying. But the mid value will be lying in between some 1,50,000 to 2 lakhs as per current scenario. So if you try to plot this point, it will come into a bell curve. Same case, you take an example for a college performance in the classroom. High performer students will be 1 or 2. They will be scoring 95 to 98 marks. And similarly, least scores will be 1 or 2. And the medium average students will be there around 50 to 80. The data will be scattered. Again, if you try to plot this point, it will take a bell curve. So that is why it is called, this is a normal behavior. Take any example, any practical example, this is a normal behavior. So the same, that is why the distribution is also called as normal distribution. So now coming to why normal, this situation is not normal now because it is not predictable. So when it is not predictable, we have to drive the management process as a priority. We cannot take it in a normal way. And during the implementation stage, as well as the execution stage, it's very important for a process to give prioritization. So what is really required? We have to think everything twice. If it is really required, we can do. Otherwise, we have to postpone it. So even in the implementation process and during execution, it's very important. And it's all about 80% planning and 20% execution. The more we plan and execution pressure will be less and the damage will be again very minimal. Now, how to plan during crisis? Actually, in any management firm, It is from top to bottom. The planning starts from the top of the management. The top management will decide whether we have to do this or not. What is the problem? What are the problems? All these things the top management will decide, and they will give directions to the bottom. And it is the reflection of companies' consolidated liquidity needs. Like if I have a salary to give for the next 3 months, my decision will be different. If I don't have a liquidity assets with me, if I'm not able to make turn some assets into liquidity easy, make it liquid easily, it's not going to be easy. So it's all about the reflection of what is in hand for the company. And separate plans have to be created for individual operating units. Some units may be having different sort of needs. The others will be having different sorts of requirements. So this will not match, and we cannot compare apples and oranges. So separate plans have to be created for each individual operating unit, which will help to come the management out of this crisis. This will help dealing with specific issues, because the issues are addressed in a specific way. The needs are identified in a micro level, and the restrictions are found out. Then it will be easy for any management to come out of this crisis. So planning is very important in crisis. Okay, what is the primary aspect in liquidity management? This situation, survival is a very, very big thing. If we forget about sustainability or forget about success, just survival without dying, the business or the management coping up with the situation scenario is really a great thing. And it depends on how the situation is handled, how the matters are handled, and how the decisions are taken. What are the key aspects for this? First thing is market access, how the market is now and how it is going to turn. So that aspect a management should initially find out, do the research in market access. What is accessibility to the market? And defensive measures. Okay, this is the market situation and this is not going to really help me. And how far am I going to defend, and how far the business or the management is going to be protected? That has to be addressed initially, so that the liquidity can be managed. Communication. Communication is seriously important in all times, especially during this crisis, because what we communicate matters much. If there is a sort of miscommunication, things will mess up, and at this crisis time, we cannot afford to take more losses due to miscommunication. So the access to the market and defensive measures and communication, these three things will help a company to handle the matters in a best way, handle the matters in a good decision, by taking good decisions. And that is very important for any liquidity, in this case, to manage the liquidity for any firm. How to coordinate during crisis? Liquidity position of one unit might significantly impact the other unit. As I said, one unit will be having a different requirement, the other unit will be having a requirement which is totally different. And this position will seriously affect that unit. The position of one unit, the liquidity position of one unit might affect. Taking an example of a car manufacturing, each component is done from different team. So one unit might have a high demand and the other unit might not have high demand. So we cannot give the same treatment to every unit. So liquidity position, we have to study according to the unit, do a basic study and make it depth, and we have to address to the issue there. Coordination is vital, because the coordinating with this unit with that unit, which really has more demand of liquidity and which has lesser demand for liquidity. These things have to be addressed, and coordination is very important to address to this issue. Now the importance has to be given for managing cash flow during crisis, importance of pricing during crisis. Okay, how to manage, what are the potential issues with cash management? Running a business without cash is not easy, is not a rosy picture and cannot survive. Everybody needs cash. Even if we go to the local shop without cash, we cannot get it through credit. It would look very awkward. So what are the potential issues with cash management? Impact on supply of goods or services due to inability to meet payment demands. I need some raw materials, I want to buy, but I don't have cash to pay them. I cannot ask for credit at this situation. So that is going to impact my business. So whatever supply of the raw materials for me to start my production, when I don't have money to pay, that is going to impact. and inability to make capital expansion plans. January, an entrepreneur would have planned to make a big, he invest huge on fixed assets and land, plant and machinery, whatever. But suddenly, due to this crisis, he is not able to take it. So this will affect the cash management. He would have planned and he would have earmarked the amount. Now he is not able to do. That will affect the business. And breaching bank loan covenants. Now it's very difficult to pay the loan, to pay back the EMIs. Of course, there are moratoriums, but even for moratoriums, we have to pay the interest. So breaching the bank loan covenants is huge now. That is a potential issue for managing the cash. And at the end, insolvency or bankruptcy. If at all we are going to fail to pay the EMIs continuously because there is no cash flow, it becomes like the company might be declared as insolvent, which is a potential issue for cash management. Okay, what are the key elements of liquidity risks? There are two types of risks. One is short-term cash flow risk, and the other one is long-term cash flow risk. As I said earlier, it is like if we are not focusing on liquidity and we are not focusing on cash flow, and just we are focusing on the income and expenditure. Income might come and we can be spending, but if there is no proper cash flow, if everything gets stuck, then situation is not going to be easy. Somebody has unmuted. Yeah, thanks. So the liquidity risks will creep here. So how to manage what are the short-term cash flow risks and what are the long-term cash flow risks? If we are not giving importance to cash flow, if we are giving only importance to income and expenditure, that will affect the management in the long run. So that has to be kept in the mind. Like what is a typical example I gave? Driving a car in a highway without focusing on the fuel, just focusing on the speed. We cannot go on, we cannot even start the car once the fuel is gone. So once the cash flow there is no cash flow, everything will become stagnant. So managing the short-term cash flow and the long-term cash flow needs very vital, it has to be addressed in a vital way. So these are the important points in managing the risk. Seasonal fluctuation. Every business will have ups and downs. There might be, for taking a textile industry, the season, off season and on season there are. For every even for college, for a management, season is there. During admission season, things are going to be very, very busy. They'll be very busy. And during vacation, they may have relaxation. Similarly, for considering my company, I have some sentiments. So during 2 or 3 months, people will never think of planning. So that month will be my lean month. So see, every business, name a business, you will have seasonal fluctuation. And of course, sometimes without any planning, the revenue might get reduced. So there will be an unplanned reduction in revenue. And the profitability, sometimes there will be good business. Turnover will be very good. But due to some investment in fixed assets or some unexpected expenditure, profitability would have reduced. And this would have helped. Also, operation cost would have been increased. So reduction in profitability and operation cost increment, this will affect the business. So these are all the impacts of liquidity risk. Fluctuations in season might affect the liquidity because when there are lean months, there is no income. Cash flow is affected. So not able to pay salary, not able to manage things. And when the revenue is suddenly, without any expectation, there is a reduction in revenue. Some months we may not be knowing why it happens, but during certain months, there will be very low business. But at the same, sometimes we see the business will be peak and will be making 3 to 4 months turnover in 1 month. So some unplanned reduction in revenue and sudden reduction in profitability and increase in operation cost would definitely affect the liquidity. These are all probable risks with respect to liquidity and especially specific to cash flow. Okay, how to identify these risks? First thing is we have to identify risks in a very earlier stage. That helps to mitigate the risk in a safer way. How to identify that? We have to monitor and control liquidity regularly on a regular basis. Okay, this is my bank account. This is being in a business. My bank account amount says this is the amount, and this is what I have to meet out this year, this month. These are all the EMIs I have to pay. These are all the expenditures I have to do, and these are all my bills. And this might be these invoices might be honored, and this is in my list. So I can get income from these things. So pipeline, these are all in my pipeline. So if I analyze all these things in a very proactive way, I can monitor and I can control liquidity in a regular. This is not, we cannot, controlling the liquidity need not be only during crisis. It has to be done on a regular basis. And sensitivity analysis. Okay, what is sensitivity analysis? Being like, in my experience, I would say from March 1st itself, I identified that things are not really rosy, even though like the seriousness of this COVID and was not very serious. I was just wondering, one gentleman was buying a lot of masks from the medical shop when I went to buy something. I was wondering, I asked, why are you buying so many masks? He said, no, COVID is going to come. So sensitivity, maybe he was so sensitive, he was able to forecast. So after that, that thing came into my mind and I was thinking again and again. March 10th, what happened? I started asking my builders to give some advance. My clients, I started asking, requested them to give me some advance so that I can work for the next 2 months. And they were all tier 1 builders. So they were able to afford that time. Maybe I think I was better proactive than them. So I got some good amount from them, which it was helpful. I never expected this lockdown and all this stuff. And this March and April, it helped me to meet out the salary expenses and the other expenses. So I was so sensitive. In any business or in any managing scenario, we have to be sensitive to identify what might be the probable risk. And scenario analysis. See, every scenario is not the same. It keeps varying. As I said, when the floods came, the crisis was different. When the Varda was there, the crisis was different. And particularly when the demonetization was there, even though the demonetization step was so good, it was a welcome sign, but all startups and small SMEs got affected to a severe extent. To my experience, 6 months we got affected because November was the demonetization. From October again, there was some pinch in the business. There was no movement in cash. There was a restricted cash flow. November, there was demonetization. December, Varda. And here in Chennai, we got affected due to CM's demise that time. January, the Jallikattu was a critical issue and nobody was sitting in the office. All the youth were in the Jallikattu protest. So again, there was no business. People were not here to work and people were not interested to seriously focus. So the scenario was different. February was a short month. So starting from October to February, the things we had nil turnover. So I think when I faced nil turnover, I think most of the situation would have been worse in Chennai, of course, at least that time. So scenario analysis is different. So working on one scenario, when we worked in a different way during the demonetization, the same thing we cannot work now. Same crisis is not the crisis here. So liquidity managing during that situation was different. Like we had an idea that something will change, but now there is no idea. So on scenario basis, the risks have to be identified in a different way. Okay, how to measure these risks? Cash flow forecasting. This might look very theoretical. I think commerce students will appreciate because I think the funds flow statement and cash flow statement are the two important things they'll be learning from their school. So even though it might look theoretical, it works very well. Like projecting my cash flow, projecting my fund flow, what will be there for the next 5 years will help to understand where we stand now and where we have to go and how do we manage the situation. So cash flow forecasting is very important. Even though it might look theoretical, it has worked. It has worked in my case. When initial stages, when we wanted to improve the business, I had to write the business plan and I had to write the cash flow fund flow statement. I was forced to write. That made me to understand where I was and how do I take the business. And financial ratio analysis, basic financial ratios which are prone for liquidity, these things we have to analyze. And monitor and control risks regularly, as we saw it in the previous slide. Availability, the important thing is we have to have a buffer. Okay, what is buffer? Availability of undrawn banking facility as a percentage of current liability. There is a current liability and bank is also already sanctioned as some facility which we have not drawn. So that is a fallback mechanism and we can go to that fallback mechanism whenever we want. That we have to keep it as a buffer or an emergency fund. Leverage is till what we can move our risk. So that is very important to measure for the measurement aspect of this liquidity risk. Solutions. Okay, what are the solutions for managing this liquidity? first thing is, I would suggest, let us not give, even as an individual, let us not give any advance to anybody even before delivering the goods. Even paying through Amazon or paying through Flipkart, now it will not help. So whatever things, let us make it a cash on delivery. Even when I book some vegetables through my app, I make it cash on delivery now. Even that, because I book today and after 2 days it might get delivered. But within 2 days now things are not predictable. So do not make advance, even if it is going to be of a small amount, to your vendors, even though they are able now to deliver the goods. Just we will not make any advance, even if it is going to be small amount. That is one important thing to manage cash flow in the short run. And we have to ensure the customer's financial position before signing the contract. This will hold good for any business. If the customer is good enough, fair enough to address to their bills, then we can sign the contract. We have to see their criteria, what is their wealth. So that is important now in the crisis, in this crisis situation. And
ma'am,
yes.
Ma'am, can I interrupt for a minute?
Yeah.
Ma'am, the screen is not seen. Probably you'll have to pin your screen to this one.
1 minute. Let me stop sharing and again let me.
Yes. And meanwhile, participants, I can see that a lot of you have switched on your video. Please switch off your video. Please switch off your video. I request Madam Shashikala, please switch off your video. Yeah. Ma'am, you can.
Yeah, is it visible now?
1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute. Yes, yes, it is. Participants, yes, I think it is visible now. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Sorry.
Thanks for keeping me updated. Otherwise, I would have been continuing.
No problem, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So back to our slide. So first thing is, we should understand that we should not make any advance of, even it is going to be of a small money to our vendor, even though they are able to deliver the goods. And the second thing is the customer's financial position. We have to ensure before signing the contract with them, especially during this crisis. And we should try to discount as much of bills as possible. Any receivables can be discounted through bill of exchange. So this is one important point to note for all businesses. And in the short term, there is one solution, that the number of products can be reduced in the product line. If we have been manufacturing 10 products, we can try to reduce the number of products in the product line, which will help us to manage the liquidity. And considering the alternate or non-traditional source of income. Again, I think I am giving more of my own example, but my experience I would like to share. Like I have been working in this, designing this Home Plan Guru Civil Consultants. It's a real estate related firm where we design plans. But now, because the situation is not really helpful and the people are working from home, from their remote thing, and we are not able to get good projects, I started focusing on my research work. So, and I am a person, like I cannot sit idle. So I started focusing on research work, and I am helping all my peers who need statistical support. So I am now considering alternate source of income, which is non-traditional. My traditional income of Home Plan Guru is completely designing, but now I totally diversified. So considering an alternate or non-traditional source of income, which is of our own core competency, that we can try to do. And converting fixed cost into variable cost wherever possible. Same example. What I try to do is, all this March, April, May, we try to pay the salary full without any disturbance. But now things are not good and not getting good income from the company. The fixed cost has got converted into variable cost. I don't want to miss the business, whatever comes. I don't want to miss the team, because after the crisis is over, I need the team to be back. So we change the model as we'll be paying per project. So whatever project I get, whatever designing people have to do, they are sitting and doing at home. And as my senior speaker told, sitting at home, lot of expenses are reduced, so they can also afford now. So the model of the salary remuneration we have modified it, converted it into variable cost. So per project, the payment will be made to the employee. So that is the model we have devised, and I think everywhere that is the same scenario. And revisit the variable costs. Whatever variable cost I was doing earlier, now slowly trying, in fact, even started cutting the broadband bill. So the plan has changed because the internet is not being used at the office. So trying to change the plan of the internet. So broadband plan has been changed. So revisiting, even single pie matters here now. So revisiting the variable cost and keep a track of our outstanding, what we have to pay and what is have to come inside. What is the cash flow? What is the flow income of the income and what is the flow of expenditure? Try to track what is happening, and that will help us in a great way in a short term. How to manage it in the long term? While signing up the contract, first thing is we have to include the clause force majeure. That is, whatever in unforeseen sequences, whatever happens, that part has to be addressed while signing up the contract. And insurance for loss or profit, especially in exports, ECGC has to be taken. So insurance will help. And discounting the export invoices will help. This LIBOR plus interest cost, I think bank people will be able to appreciate. So discounting the export invoices will help. So these are all solutions in the long term. And we have to think beyond four walls. We should not have our thought process in a limited way. We have to think beyond four walls. Okay, what is the accounting impact of these things? First thing is we have to write down the inventories to the net realizable value. What is the valuable today? What is the value today of this inventory? So we have to write down the net value and study the overheads of the inventory and production. So if we understand that overhead is more, then really we should have the inventory, or how to minimize the production. All these things we have to forecast. Of course, government has done a lot of measures. Government has taken moratorium. Government has done deferment of interest in the working capital facilities for SMEs, especially with regard to CC facility and OD facility. Banks have deferred the interest. And labor EPF, government has announced that they will bear the EPF subscribers, EPF of the people where more than 100 employees are there, and the EPF subscribers can withdraw 75% of their balance. All these things, government has taken their own measure, but it's not easy to control a 130 billion population. It's not easy to control, and it's not easy to address to this issue. So even though government has done all these things, moratorium government has declared, but I'm not sure it is going to be helpful, because we are going to pay interest for our own interest. So it is better to manage it in a short way. So the whatever project comes, trying it to manage and pay the EMI, get rid of it, will be helpful instead of paying the interest, accumulating the interest. How to practically understand the loss claim? First thing is all contracts should be renewed from a business perspective. All the contracts should be renewed, and if any contract gives the rise of claim of compensation, we have to try to understand. And all the contractor where we are vendor, we have to try to understand, review all the contracts and make a safeguard our skin in a very specific way. And identify the documents required to substantiate the losses made. So wherever we have got loss, try to take insurance and find out and try to get the identify the documents to claim, and set up the internal process and have all the data in place. And whatever damages have happened with the documents, we have to try to make it claim it in a legal way. My 2 cents. First thing is, life is not fair, but we can make it good and convert challenges into opportunities. And I have a liquidity management. I have a small video. So let me stop sharing the screen and again take to the video. I hope the video is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
What is your liquidity planning situation? Liquidity planning means ensuring that enough money is available at the right time. Efficient, careful liquidity planning is important for any company. There are risks involved in having too much liquidity, as well as not enough. The first thing to do is to draw up a summary of your planned income and expenditure. This shows you how much liquidity you need. You can then begin liquidity planning. eFinance gives you a constant overview of your accounts and transactions. You can use the PostFinance mobile app to check your balance, approve payments, and lots more while on the move. Approximately 90% of bankruptcies are due to a liquidity crisis. Appropriate accounts receivable and accounts payable management helps ensure you have sufficient liquidity. You can improve accounts receivable management by drawing up invoices as quickly as possible and sending reminders promptly. Shorten your payment deadlines and request in advance. You can improve accounts payable management by monitoring your invoices closely and waiting until the end of the payment period to settle them. You can also postpone non-urgent acquisitions. Around 70% of accounts receivable losses are caused by regular customers. Check the financial solvency of your regular customers, as well as that of new customers. You can use in-payment slips with reference number to automate invoicing and accounts receivable management. With e-payment, customers can pay for the purchases they make in your online shop directly via computer or mobile phone. An electronic payment order allows you to carry out transfers in a single operation. Liquidity fluctuations are an everyday occurrence in many companies, yet there are various ways of reducing them. You can invest excess liquidity according to your expected returns and risk tolerance. If you have insufficient liquidity, plan shorter storage times, make full use of your credit limits, and keep a close check on your finances. The PostFinance business account entitles you to an overdraft of up to 1,000 Swiss francs. A current account credit can help you bridge temporary financial difficulties. Invest excess liquidity profitably, but make sure that you can access it if you need it. Short-term excess liquidity needs to be accessible quickly, whereas medium-term excess liquidity can be invested in products with good expected returns and low risk. Long-term excess liquidity can be invested according to your yield experience and risk tolerance. The free e-savings account gives you an attractive interest rate. If you want to invest higher sums for a short time, we recommend our money market investments. Funds can be chosen from a clearly defined range, depending on your expected returns and risk tolerance. Companies all go through stages and have different liquidity requirements at each business stage. We'll be happy to arrange a personal consultation to help you find the solution that best suits your needs. Register at postfinance.ch/advice or call us on 0848 888 900.
And I would like to add one more point here. This is not about crisis management, but about liquidity management. See, when the company wanted to expand, we were a team of 4 and we wanted to expand it to 8. What we wanted to do is the basic investment for company was only computers and softwares. So we didn't want to invest from our pocket. So the risk has always to be spread. So we went and approached to a nationalized bank. We got a loan. And now we need 4 people. Team has to be expanded. We needed 4 people. So we went to the local college where we could go for a campus placement. We took 4 employees, and we told that employees that we will give you proper training for 3 months, and if you are met to the expectations, we will observe you. Otherwise, for the 3 months, we will give you a certificate and we will see you off. So that was the agreement, because they were also freshers. They were happy to take the challenge. So in this way, the first and the loan, what happened is we requested for a holiday period. There is a scheme called holiday period for bank loans. We need not pay the principal for first 6 months. The principal payment starts only from the 7th month, and the first 6 months only EMI. If you pay the EMI for the interest is enough. So we try to manage that. And the first 6 months we were paying only the interest for the software, whatever we purchased, and the systems. And the boys were working, and we were giving only a small stipend. And at the end of the 3rd month, they started earning projects. And with this, we were able to, after the 6th month, we got stabilized and we were able to pay the loan. We were able to pay the salary to the team, and we were able to make a small profit to ourselves also. So this is how liquidity works. So without bootstrapping, without even having a huge amount, trying to match with available resources. That is an important trick in regular day-to-day activity and in the business particularly. So this is a small experience like I thought of sharing here. And I think my presentation is over. 1 minute. Let me share my screen. Yeah. So I thank you one and all for your patience, and I thank especially the coordinators, Lavanya ma'am, Gokul sir, and principal sir, and HOD sir for giving us such a nice opportunity in this crisis time, and gives a lot of energy for like us to work further, and it made me to think a lot in this process. So I thank one and all present here once again. Over to Gokul sir and Lavanya ma'am.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Indeed, a very wonderful presentation and very apt with terms of liquidity management. You have touched upon the industrial aspect and real life scenarios as to something which was very unanticipated from past 2-3 months that has been happening. So thank you so much for throwing light on this. And the participants have been asking me in the chat box to get the presentation from your end. So I'm sure that
I'll share it. I'll share it through Lavanya ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am. And participants, any specific questions to Lavanya ma'am with regard to the presentation that we had? You could, to Padmaja ma'am with regard to the topic that was discussed. Please type it in the chat box so that we could get it clarified. I'm also, if you could share your email ID, that will be great. You could just type it in the chat box. I request the participants to yes. No. Sorry, it's not for the participants, please. Participants' email ID we have. Participants' email ID we have. It was only for Padmaja ma'am.
So shall I share my mail ID here in the chat box?
Yes. Participants, yeah, please stop sharing. Participants, we have your email IDs, don't worry.
Yeah. I've shared my mail ID.
Has it been? I don't see it in the chat box. Here, Priya at
homeplanguru.com.
Yeah. Participant, ma'am's email ID is priya@homeplanguru.com. So, yes, and thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with such a knowledge enhancing session. And now we come to the end of the session. And before that, it is our responsibility to ask the participants the feedback. I mean, in general, not just regarding the presentation, but the overall feedback from our end. Because as an organizing team, it is our responsibility to take your honest feedbacks and work on it if there is say, any gray areas. So we'll be very happy if a couple of you, in the interest of time, we can allow maximum 2 or 3 people. If you take about half a minute to just tell us um, what went good and what can be better. So people, 1 or 2 can unmute yourself, not everybody, please, in the interest of time, and you can start speaking. Okay, I think if there's okay, I think then okay, I'm getting chat boxes saying that probably people are putting the comments on the chat box. Thank you so much. I think all your good
Some
feedback.
question is there. Management usually depends on the personality and mental abilities of the employees, right, ma'am? Ajay Nityananda. He has asked a question.
You
Yeah,
could answer that, man.
micromanagement usually depends on the personality and mental abilities of the employees. It's not like that. See, leadership is a very, very challenging thing, and we cannot be a good person. We cannot be on the good books of everyone at all times. So, micromanagement is necessary only in such scenario where a crisis is there. So, we cannot do micromanagement at all levels and at all times. So, it depends on the situation and not on the personality and mental abilities. So, this is my opinion.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope that answers the question. Now, the last bit of it in terms of just give me 1 minute.
Yeah.
Let me just where is it? Allow me a minute to share my screen. Let me just quickly. Can you see my screen? Okay. So as you can see here on my screen, we have our website and the social media links. You have the on my screen. You have the website and the social media links. The reason is, please stay connected with us because because whatever the events that are happening, the upcoming events will be uploading to our website. So keep a track of us. Please follow us on social media also. Our website is ssmrv.edu.in. We have our YouTube channel. So the recording of the first session and the second section will be uploaded to YouTube by end of day today. I'll be doing that, and I will send the link to Lavanya ma'am, who will in turn in turn share the link with the participants, and along with the presentations of the resource persons that will also be sent. Then we have the Facebook page, the Instagram account, and the LinkedIn page. Please do stay connected with us so that you will be aware of all the activities that are organized in our college, and you can join us through that. With that, we come to the end of the session, and I pass on the baton to Lavanya ma'am to propose the formal vote of thanks. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So I take this opportunity to thank today's resource person, Dr. Lee Anne Paul and Dr. Padmaja Priyadarshini. The insights that they gave on their respective topics was very informative and interesting. There's a saying that if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. This holds good to our beloved principal, Dr. Anil Kumar, a good motivator and a good supporter. My sincere thanks to our leader, the man behind the success stories of SSMRB, Dr. Anil Kumar, whose immense support and motivation has made this event happen. I thank our head of the department, Dr. P. Nagaraju, for all his continuous guidance and a full-time support from his side. And there's a saying that the only difference between a mob and a trained army is organization. I'm proud and bound to thank our organizing committee, which includes Professor Satish from the Department of Commerce, Professor Gokul from the Department of Business Administration, Mr. Hanumant Reddy, Technical Administrator, whose contribution towards this event was immeasurable. I also thank Ms. Sonali and Ms. Apurva, final year students of MCOM, for their active participation in this event. Last but not the least, I wholeheartedly thank all the participants present here in the webinar. I convey my best wishes to all the participants for their future endeavors. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And with that, we close
Thank
the session.
you.
Thank you for spending almost
Yeah.
a day with
Yeah.
us. I hope the sessions have been.
I think we started on time and we are ending on time, punctual.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. That was indeed very, and with all the content that was required, that is more important.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We shall stay connected with our future endeavors as well.
Sure, it was my pleasure to be a part of this today. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And regarding the feedback, just Lavanya ma'am, just one point.
So feedback link will be sent within 4 days from this date. On or before 30th, the feedback link will be sent to you. So once you click on fill the feedback form, you will be getting the e-certificates to you. So that's all.
Yeah.
Gokul sir, it's over.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Then we shall meet soon for the next event. Thank you so
Kind
much.
of now.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Participants, you were so patient and so cooperative. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much. Bye.